One of the world's leading think tanks warned that a war between the US and North Korea is now a real possibility. A report from the Royal Services Institute in London said that the casualties would be extremely high in the event of a war. They said that Korea was now a more dangerous flashpoint than any other world crisis. Hundreds of people gathered outside the Hong Kong government's headquarters on Thursday to mark the third anniversary of the Occupy movement. The movement signifies the pro-democracy protests that had taken place in the country. The three founders of the movement were sent to prison earlier for their roles in the huge protests that took place 3 years ago. A car bomb explosion in the capital of Somalia late on Thursday killed at least 5 people. The explosion was the end of the period of calm that had prevailed in the city, which has a large security presence after a series of attacks by the Islamic State. No group has claimed responsibility for the blasts yet. Over 120,000 people have fled the region around a volcano on the Indonesian island of Bali, fearing that it would soon erupt. Evacuees are scattered at over 500 locations across the island. The volcano has been at its highest level alert since Friday. The numbers of Rohingya refugees fleeing from Myanmar into Bangladesh continues to increase, with the United Nations saying that the number has now topped 5 lakh people since August. Bangladesh and aid agencies are struggling to provide shelter and basic facilities for the refugees who are packed into settlements. Thousands of retired French workers staged protests in Paris over a new tax hike on their pensions and other policies by the Macron government. The first budget of Macron's presidency includes 5 billion euros in budget cuts and focuses on reducing the tax deficit. Turkish President Erdogan said that Iraq's Kurdish region had thrown itself into the middle of fire by holding a referendum on independence. While Turkey forged close ties to the Iraq's Kurdish region, they strongly opposed its move towards independence. The Spanish government said that the referendum on Catalonia's self-determination was illegal. The Spanish Civil Guard have released a video of thousands of confiscating voting papers being loaded into a truck. However, authorities in Catalonia aim to ensure that the referendum takes place peacefully. Talks between Kenya's Electoral Commission, the ruling party, and the opposition on how to hold fresh presidential elections collapsed. The talks failed since the opposition objects to the ruling party planning to use its majority in the parliament to remove a requirement that results be transmitted electronically. The Libyan Coast Guard rescued over 200 migrants who were stranded a few kilometers north of Tripoli. The boat was heading towards Italy with migrants from various Middle Eastern and African countries.